So speaking of Champions League, let's move on to the men a little bit because men's is what's happening this week. Some very interesting results even from just today. Pool A, nothing noteworthy at all. JW has won that pool already. There's nothing really to go over there. Pool B, like Everett talked about, Zirapan Casa losing to Masaic today changes kind of everything, not only in that pool, but in Champions League, because Zirapan Casa was in a position here, the bottom of the screen, amongst the second place teams to really be in a great position to make it out. All they had to do is beat Masaic, like the fourth place team in the pool. But they lose. And now they like 3-2, 10 points is not a good spot to be in, even if you win your last game and they have to go play Dinamo Moscow again. That's not going to go well. So now these couple pools are where it gets very interesting as well. We'll tie all this together in just a minute. So this week you got Zaksa Kezhizhin Kozle is on their way to Siberia now, because earlier today they went to Slovenia and they beat Maribor easily. So they beat them in 3, and they're flying to Siberia where they've already played and beaten Novosibirsk, but they're doing it again because their last match got canceled due to a Zaksa COVID outbreak. However, tomorrow you have Lube traveling to Novosibirsk. They're already there. That match is tomorrow, ludicrously early in the morning. I was going to have to commentate it. It was going to be at 6 a.m. my time. So it's tomorrow morning, Wednesday, February 8th at 7 a.m. Eastern time.
7 a.m. Eastern. I'll do it. See if you need someone. Like, let me jump on.
Fortunately, our boy Louis Lett, who has recently moved to Australia, is in a much
real quick shout out to Louis Lett, because now he's working for the Australian Beach Volleyball Federation. So kind of sad because he's not going to be commentating anymore. I'm assuming, right?
No, he's commentating tomorrow. He's commentating tomorrow because it's a favorable time zone for him. Yeah,
more so beach. Right? Like, I don't think he's going to be the voice of beach volleyball. So that being said, side note, volleyball world high. Would love to jump in there. I'm sure Louis would give me a reference.
He would.
But yeah, big shout out to Louis Lett. One of the gems of
the man
of the volleyball world in general. A dude who just loves volleyball to his core, and it exudes in the stuff that he does. So Louis, congratulations. But back to what we were talking about.
Right. So so you got Lube versus Novosibirsk tomorrow, super early in the morning if you're in the Western Hemisphere. That'll be really good. Remember last time those two teams played, I think it was like the first match of the tournament. Lube hosted Novosibirsk, absolutely stomped on them, and they had like something on the order of 15 aces. It was kind of embarrassing. But like we saw when Novosibirsk hosted Zaksa the last time, that they played them really tight, and even though Zaksa won in 4, Lokomotiv looked much better. Also, Lokomotiv beat Dinamo Moscow in domestic competition, I think, last week. So that team is good, and that match tomorrow will be good if you want to wake up early for it. I will not be up at 6 a.m. And then Pool D is the one I really want to talk about, because we were talking about it last week after ZSP had that, or 2 weeks ago, after ZSP had that unbelievable head scratcher when they hosted Novi Sad and played Grebennikov at Libero and got swept. ZSP is back to full strength. Poletayev and Kliuka have both been playing full minutes, so that's awesome. And now it shapes up really nicely for this showdown. So Berlin today went to Benfica in Portugal and beat them easily. It sets up great for this showdown when Berlin will travel to St. Petersburg in about 2 weeks and play them 2 matches in a row. Actually, that might be next week. I think it's next week. I think it's next Wednesday and Thursday. So those matches will be electric. I'm very much looking forward to those, because as we look at the list of the second place teams, Everett, I think I asked you last week of the 4 teams here that are in second right now that really have a chance, because Friedrichshafen does not. Which 3 do you think are going to make it out? And last week I thought that ZSP would be the one on the outside looking in, and I don't quite think that way anymore. I think they have a better chance, especially after Zirapan Casa lost.
Yeah, I mean the ZSP / Berlin pool. I'm now looking at Berlin as being that second place team, because I mean, hey, Berlin just is coming off a loss to Friedrichshafen in the DVV Cup. Yeah, they're first of the year, and let's be honest, Friedrichshafen is not good this year, right? So, and I mean, Friedrichshafen, like they had a game, like Patch put up numbers as well too, but I just don't think that Berlin is at ZSP's level, especially if everyone's going to be getting it back. But yeah, going back to that Zerot Bankasi loss, right now they've played 5 matches, so I think they only have one more left. Whereas,
and it's against Dynamo Moscow,
and it's against Dynamo Moscow, so that's probably going to be their loss. It changes everything for them. So they're going to be going to 3-3, and I don't know if that's going to be enough because you're fighting with Zaxa, Trentino, and ZSP / Berlin. And I mean, as Berlin's not going to be able to run with ZSP, but they're not going to lose to Novi Sad or Benfica, right? So like that loss today. And I mean, I just watched because I got home just as the match was finishing and kind of watched that 5th set. And after the match,
it was fun. It was a fun match.
Oh, it was a great match. I mean, for some reason, like I'm a huge Yolan Cox fan. The right side for
the lefty.
Lefty. Like I've seen him go off. Like I think his peak form was when he was paired up with Jay Blankino a few seasons ago.
Of course, you bring it back to Canada.
Absolutely, I had to somehow. But I love like those matchups, like those Turkey versus Belgium versus France versus like Germany. Like I love that. Like let's have more of that. Let's let the big dogs fight, and let's let those guys go at it too. But yeah, I just don't see how Zerot Bankasi is going to be able to slot themselves in with one of those 3 teams.
They would have no choice. They would have to beat Dynamo Moscow head to head, and I just don't see that happening.
No.
So Zaxa, though, they do not have all that easy of a path, because let's say they go to Novosibirsk, Siberia, obviously not an easy trip to make. They play that on Saturday. Let's say they lose. Let's say they get upset. Then they're 3-2. Then where's their last match? It's at Lube Nova. I'm not going to put this on the reigning champions, but it is not impossible for Zaxa to lose their 2 remaining matches, because they have by far the hardest schedule remaining. They have to play Novosibirsk and Lube both on the road, and they have to win one of those games to have a chance to advance. It's not impossible that they might get they could get upset in both of those games, and losing to Lube probably wouldn't even be an upset. They could miss out on the quarterfinals because of that, and that would be insane.
Yeah, but hey, I mean that's the Champions League. That's the way it is, especially with this weird random format that we have of 5 pools of 4 teams. Like you get 24, you make it 16 or 32. Like there's standard numbers for this. Like once again, volleyball. Let's just get it together, okay?
Yeah, figure it out. So a couple things just to preview Champions League this week, because this is mostly a men's week of Champions League. There's actually some women's going on, as they have some matches to catch up on. So I mentioned Lube at Novosibirsk tomorrow, super early in the morning if you're in the Western Hemisphere. Warsaw at Dynamo Moscow is tomorrow. That doesn't really matter as much now because Warszaw's eliminated themselves by choking in their first 3 matches, but they could play spoiler, I suppose. Berlin plays 2 matches in back-to-back days. They actually play Novi Sad tomorrow, which is rare and interesting travel-wise, but I still expect them to win. Then a big one, an absolute banger. On Thursday, Trentino versus Perugia, Chapter 5. They have already played 4 times this year. They are dead split at 2-2, and they play again in Champions League on Thursday. That will be a banger. That is at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. So set an alarm for that one for sure.
That should be a good one to watch. Maybe if you're on the Discord, maybe we should put together a voice chat for that one. That might be worth it.
It might be worth it. Then you've got a rare Saturday match this coming Saturday, the 12th, Zaxa at Novosibirsk. So that'll be really good too. That's noon Eastern time. So a lot of good Champions League stuff. This time next week, and the nice thing is that next week, next Thursday Thursday the 17th are the last matches of Champions League in the 4th round. So we will have a ton to we'll have a ton to talk about on next week's show about Champions League. But I agree that this is drawn out for too long. I think they should do it like they did last year. Get all 4 teams into the same place for 3 days, have them each play 3 matches against each other. You only have to do that block twice to finish out the entire pool, and then do only 4 pools instead of 5. That would be an easy fix, but a better fix, I think, would be what Everett suggested about just grouping all CV competition into one long list and having them play each other throughout the season, move up and down, and then separate them out into playoffs as you go. I like that format a lot. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let's change it up, volleyball. Let's try something different. We've been doing this for how long, and it's mediocre at best. Like, hey, let's switch it up.